balance is key. Balance is key, especially if you've got a business that you're working on, because you do not want to become a robot.
For too long, we've been lying to ourselves. For too long, we've been giving in to our own bullshit. For too long, we've been holding ourselves back. I stepped in my power, and now I'm here to help you do the same.
Welcome to this week's episode of Step Into Your Power. Thank you as always for tuning in. I really do appreciate the time that you spend in listening to me and engaging with me, and also sharing my content as well. So let me take this chance to ask you, if you find any value in this episode, please do share it with your friends and your family, and even on your Instagram stories, and tag me in it, because the more these episodes are shared, the more my message can get out there and the more people that I can help. You see, I don't run any advertisements for this particular podcast, so it's all solely based on people sharing this with the people that they know. So please, if you find value in this, please do share it. So what sparked today's episode is the last week or so. So over the last week, I've had some self-realization. On Sunday, the 14th of March, it was Niepi, which is Balinese New Year. And they have every Balinese New Year, it's like 6 days worth of festival, and Niepi is Silent Day. And basically what Silent Day is no lights, you don't talk, you meditate, you self-reflect, and you go within. So I took time that day to respect the culture and get involved in what they do. So I had no technology or internet for the whole day, and I self-reflected and I thought about a few things. Now, 2 days before, on the Sunday, I had a very powerful healing session with a beautiful woman here in Bali, and for that whole week since, I've been really self-reflecting and thinking about things. You see, over this year, I've really been focused on my goals and the destination. And because of that, I subsequently lost trust in the universe. Now, if you guys are not very spiritual and if you don't really understand about the universe, that's okay, that's fine. You may think some of the things that I mention are a bit woo-woo, but really they're not. If you do start practicing and believing in the universe and the law of attraction, you will really see the power in this. So last year, I completely trusted in the universe, and the universe held me. And quite literally throughout my whole entrepreneurial journey, to be completely honest with you, I have trusted in the journey and I've trusted in the universe. And even when I didn't have a job and a source of income because my business wasn't doing well in the first couple of years, I was still blessed financially in different ways, and I was still held and looked after by the universe in different ways, because I held that vision, I trusted that process, and the universe delivered, and I was able to manifest what I needed to hold me through my journey, to enable me to get to where I wanted to go. And this is what I wanted to speak about. But before I get into the crux of things, I want to announce something very exciting. I'm going to be launching something next week for all of you, for anyone who wants to get involved, and I'm so very excited for this. I'm not going to give away too much information just yet, but please make sure you are following me on Instagram and you have post notifications turned on, because I'm only going to be announcing this on Instagram in the first instance. So I'm very excited for the announcement and for the launch of what I'm going to be delivering to you guys, because it's going to be such a game changer for everyone that decides to get involved. So let's get into the crux of this episode. I really want to talk about the sweetness of the journey, and trusting in the journey, and trusting in your own journey, because too often we have a goal and we have a vision and we get so focused on this goal or this vision that we tend to lose sight of the present moment and the journey and what we're doing now. And because of that, it causes resistance and it causes things to go much slower for us and things not working out for us. So let me share more of my journey with you guys. Before I started my entrepreneurial journey, I didn't look at my life as a journey. Life was happening to me. I was depressed and I was anxious and I blamed everything else and everyone else for my situation and evidently put myself in the victim mentality and the victim position because I was giving my power away to everyone else and I was giving my power away to life, not realizing that life was happening for me and it was all a journey for me. So I didn't know how to navigate through life, and because of this, so many things just didn't go my way. Now, when I started my entrepreneurial journey in July 2017 and I really delved into personal development, I really started to believe in the universe because I started to learn about the law of attraction and I started to practice the law of attraction methods. And throughout my whole business journey, because of my belief in the journey and because of my trust in the universe and my trust in the process, the universe looks after me throughout that whole time. Now, as I've previously shared before, at the start of my entrepreneurial journey for about 2.5 years, it wasn't really going well for me in a financial sense. But even though it wasn't going well for me, I was still looked after by the universe. Even when I didn't have a job, I was still looked after financially. And I was still held by the universe in the financial sense that I was able to still live my life and still be comfortable and not struggle as much as I could have through different financial means that came my way. And I'm so very grateful for that. And with that being said, I'm very, very sure that these financial means came to me because of my trust in the process and my trust in the journey. See, I had my vision of the success in my business and I held that vision and I trusted whatever process was happening. Even if it wasn't happening in the way that I wanted it to happen, I didn't get frustrated and I didn't get annoyed because I trusted in the process that was happening for me. Now, when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I was in a very low space. I was depressed and I was anxious and I had a few things that I needed to work towards. And while working through and growing through all of the processes that I needed to go through, I trusted that things were happening for me in the way that they should, and they did. And eventually I stepped into that entrepreneurial success that I was seeking. But before that, I was still held by the universe and I was still looked after by the universe because I trusted in the journey. Now, too often people are focused on the destination, and this is why I wanted to do this episode this week, because recently this year I've been very, very focused on my goals and my business, and because of that I've inadvertently created resistance, because you see, that's what we do when we're too focused on the destination and on the end goal. We cause resistance because we think about what we haven't got rather than focusing on the present moment and what we have got and what we're going through and what we're experiencing and appreciating everything. We're too focused on the future and forgetting about the now. But the most important part is the now, and that is the sweetness of the journey. When we're not focused on the now, we wish away the present moment. And we completely miss what's happening in the present moment. We completely miss the connections that we're making, the revelations, the personal revelations that we're making, the growth that's happening, the things that we're learning. And we're not appreciating that. Because we're not appreciating that, we miss the sweet spots and we let those slip away. And inevitably we cause resistance because that force goes in there. We're too focused on what we want to achieve, what we haven't got, why is this not happening? And as we know in the law of attraction, when we think about what we haven't got and when we think about what we're lacking and what we don't want, we subsequently attract that to us. So it's very important to trust in the journey and focus on the journey and focus on what we have got and what we're happy with and what we appreciate. And I'm not saying don't focus on what we're working towards, because we don't want to keep that out of our mind's eye, but don't focus on it from a sense of, I'm not there yet, I need that now. Because when we think, I need it, that comes from a place of lack. And when we come from a place of lack, we attract more lack, and we don't attract the right things to us to create the abundance that we are seeking. When we don't trust, it causes resistance in our vortex. Now, we have our own vortex in the law of attraction in the universe. We are co-creators of our existence, of our physical world. So it's very important that we are very, very mindful about the thoughts we are thinking, the words that we are saying, and the actions that we take, because everything coincides and causes the reality that we see in front of our eyes. Now, the journey is where it's at. And this is where many people get lost. And this is where I started to get lost. Now, last year I was on my personal year 7 in numerology. If you don't know anything about numerology, I do highly recommend you look into it. We are souls having a human experience. And basically, numerology is the science of numbers. As souls, we are all seeing, we are all knowing, and we choose to come here on this earth. We choose to have the parents and the families we do. We choose to have our name. We choose when we're born and where we're born. As souls, we are infinite. We are all seeing, we are all knowing. And numerology is essentially the blueprint of our lives to guide us through. Now, last year I was on my personal year 7, which was reflect, relaxation, go within, learn more about yourself on a spiritual sense, and attract everything, pursue nothing. And the universe really looked after me last year. I was very well looked after in a financial sense. But then coming into my year 8, the energies completely changed, and I became more focused on my business and building my business back up, because understandably, when you take your foot off the pedal of anything, it slows down. So my business started slowing down. So I was like, okay, well, I need to do this, I want to achieve this, and I was putting so much energy on the goal and on the destination that I completely lost sight of my journey, and inevitably I lost sight of the trust in the universe. And this is what I've been working through this last week since my healing session and since Niepi, and a range of different cacao ceremonies that I've been doing both alone and with other people. And I've really been focusing now on the journey and on being and on spending time not only with myself but with other people, and not putting all of my focus onto my business. Because when you put too much focus on one thing in your life, you cause an imbalance in other places in your life, and quite frankly, you're not looking after yourself. And that's what I was doing. I was putting too much focus on the outcome and on the goals that I was completely losing sight of the journey. And because I was losing sight in the journey, it started causing resistance. It started causing situations that I didn't necessarily want to happen. It started causing anxiety within myself, and no one wants that. So this last week, I've really been focusing more on the trust and trusting the universe. And because of that, I've had different insights and intuitions and revelations coming through for different things that I'm working on and directions that I want to take. So I'm very grateful for this revelation. And again, this is why I've decided to do this episode. Since I started my entrepreneurial journey, I always had a view of everything is happening as it should. And like I said, I always trusted in the process. And this is why at the start, well, for the first 2.5 years of my entrepreneurial journey, when things weren't going the way that I wanted them to, this is why I didn't get disheartened. This is why I didn't get fed up, and this is why I kept going, because I knew in my heart of hearts that this was the right path for me. Now, when you're on a path and when you're moving forward, whether that be in your job, in your work, in your career, in your business, in your relationship, whatever that may be, you know within your heart, within your body, within your soul, whether it's right for you. And you know this because of your inner guidance system. So because of this, throughout my whole journey, I knew that this was the right thing for me. So even though I wasn't seeing the success that I wanted to see as quickly as I wanted to, I knew I was on the right path, and that's why I kept going. And I wasn't so focused on the results. I was just happy with where I was at, and I was happy with where I was going. And I want to share this with you because you may very well not be getting the success that you want as quickly as you want, or you may not be getting the life situation that you want or the relationships that you want right now as quickly as you want. And I want you to understand that you are exactly where you need to be for what you need to learn. The important thing here is trust. I'm going to say that again. The important thing here is trust. Trust the universe. Trust the journey. Because the universe has your back, and you are in the right place at the right time for everything that you need. Yes, have in your mind's eye where you want to go, but appreciate where you're at now. Appreciate what you're learning. Appreciate where you're going. Because when you appreciate, you see more. And you attract more of what you want. Now, with that being said, the destinations will always change. As we hit goals and as we achieve what we want, our destinations will always change. So if we're too focused on the destination, and if we're too focused on our goals, once we do hit them, we'll be like, okay, well, where do I go now? And you may very well be lost because you've not been appreciating the journey as much, and you've just hit your goal and it's just like, okay, well, that's it. Like, what do I do now? So that's why it's important to focus on the present. That's why it's important to focus on the journey. Enjoy the moments you're having. Enjoy the learnings that you are going through. Enjoy it and appreciate how far you have come. It's important to focus on, okay, well, what can I do now to get myself to the end destination? And what is good for me right now to ensure that I get to my end destination as quickly as possible. And remember, balance is key. Balance is key, especially if you've got a business that you're working on, because you do not want to become a robot. It's important to look after your mind, your body, and your soul. It really is so important, because the more you look after yourself, the more you can look after your business, the more you can look after other people in your life, and the more that you can serve your mission. So often people are focused on the destination and they completely forget the sweetness of the journey. And like I said, the journey is where it's at. The journey is what makes us who we are. And if we're not appreciating the journey, if we're not focusing on the journey, if we're not looking at the journey, then how can we understand and see the type of person we're becoming, the type of person we're growing into, and the things that we are cultivating, both for ourselves, both for our family, and both for the world? It is good to have end goals. It's good to want to go to the destination. But the journey is the sweet part. Seeing the beautiful landscape is the sweet part. Appreciating the view is the sweet part. So always trust in your journey. Your journey is uniquely yours, no one else's. Don't compare yourself to anyone else but yourself yesterday, because everyone's journey is different. Everyone started at different points. Everyone was born and given a different set of cards. Everyone has had different life experiences. Everyone has grown at a different pace. You are not everyone. You are you. So focus on you. And it's easier said than done. It's very easy to compare ourselves. It's very easy to compare ourselves. But when that comes in on a natural sense, Try to be aware of it and tell yourself, they are not me, I am not them. The only person I should be comparing myself to is the person I was yesterday. Your journey is special, your journey is unique, your journey is amazing. Appreciate every single part of it, because the more you appreciate it and the more you trust and the more you understand that you will get to your destination with that trust that you have in yourself and the universe, the quicker you'll get there and the funner it's going to be. Again, thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you found value in this, please do share it on your stories on Instagram and make sure to tag me at Mel M. Rubin. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to message me. My inbox is always open for you. Have a fantastic day, warrior, and I will see you next week.